can be. So I don't know very much about Mormonism. And by very much, I mean basically nothing. So can you give me a brief background about what that religion is? Because I feel like sometimes it's equated with other religions that it shouldn't be.
Sure. Yeah, I think that the like classic idea that people tend to conjure up when they hear the word Mormon is like people with bonnets working in fields of hay with 8 wives. Latter-day Saints, like modern Mormonism is not that at all. In the past, that was like an old custom, I guess, to try and get more kids out there, they say. Sure. But now it's like, it's very much, you marry one person, you get married quite young, and you have as many kids as you possibly can. And then it's a lot of like basic Christianity, basic Christian principles. I would just say it's like heightened. And then there were a lot more rules that go with it. Like you can't have caffeine, you can't have hot beverages, you can't buy anything on Sundays. There's just like 1.5 million rules that are very hard to remember and even harder to stand by. Yeah.
Well, so if you can't have caffeine, that would be no to alcohol.
Absolutely no alcohol. Yeah. No, no tattoos. No, you have to wear garments under your clothes every day. I don't know what there's like reasons behind all of it that I don't remember. I just remember all of the rules because growing up with an anxiety disorder, it gave me a lot of anxiety to be like, oh shit, how am I going to do all this and not do that? And blah, blah, blah.
Yeah. Okay. So how did somebody, so say your mom, because you said your mom kind of pushed you into acting. How did that work with being a Mormon?
That's a good question. Not well. But my mom my mom was the master of finding justifications for the things that she wanted to be a certain way. For example, like it was really shunned on in the church when I played a child prostitute. Like no, Sister Huffmeyer wasn't having it. But my mom would come to church and like have this testimony speech written where she would then go stand up on the stage and talk about how like this is actually a really good thing for the church because it might lead to prostitutes hearing the whisper of the Holy Ghost. If they see this and they know that Jennette's Mormon, like they might convert as well. That was the level of like extreme that my mom would take it. And somehow, like looking back on it now, it seems ridiculous and absurd and over the top. But at the time, she would somehow like persuade people that that was reality and that was a good thing. Like she had a really charming kind of side to her personality, even though she was saying insane things most of the time.
Wow. Sounds like she might have been a smart cookie to weave those kind of things together.
You know, she had a capacity for intelligence and I feel like it was wasted and I feel like she didn't really use it for good and it upsets me.
Aw, that's too bad.
Yeah.
So you have just going off of that, you have this tour you don't have the tour anymore, obviously, COVID. But you were on tour and you were doing a 1-woman show.
Oh, right. Yeah.
So what was that about?
I'm glad you were referring to this tour. I thought you were talking about when I had a brief stint doing country music and I did a mall tour and I thought you were talking about the mall
I kind of wish I was. I watched one of those.